Today on Time About the Movies, we're delving into the 2011 leftovers. But before we do that, we have a new release to kick off 2012, and not a very good release, and that is The Devil Inside. But after we get through that, we have all these movies right here. Happiness is a Warm Blanket, Charlie Brown, Elektra Luxx, All-Star Superman, Green Lantern, Emerald Knights, Batman Year One, Tom and Jerry and the Wizard of Oz, Beethoven's Christmas Adventure, and Passion Play. So, let's go ahead and get 2012 going. January 6, 2012, our 2011 leftover show today on Time About the Movies.
On December 15th, 2011, hundreds of people gathered at a church in Pasadena, California, for an exclusive screening of the movie, The Devil Inside.
I believe my mother is possessed. Your daughter.
It's against God's
Sorry about that. I just watched the Steelers game end, and yeah. Of course, I felt so angry that I needed to punch something. But then again, that trailer didn't do any favors either. Okay, I'm lying to you. It's been a couple of hours since that Steelers game, and yeah. If you know what I'm talking about, Steelers embarrassing losing to the Seahawks. Yeah, you'd be mad too if you were a Steelers fan that you want to punch your phone right now. But no, that is not why I punched my phone. I punched my phone because of that obnoxious bitch in this fucking movie. But anyway, on that positive note, welcome to Time About the Movies. Today we are taking a look at the films of January 6, 2012. Only one film, but it's also our 2011 leftover show. We start off a brand new year of movies, and hopefully it'll be a much better start than 2011 was. So let's just go ahead and get into this first big new release of 2012, and that is, of course, The Devil Inside. This was, of course, the big surprise success that came out of nowhere. It only cost $1 million to make. It was a massive hit at the box office, and really wasn't that much of a shocker because the movie only cost $1 million to make, and ever since then, it's been panned by everybody alike. So it had one great weekend, and then as soon as everyone went to go see it, everybody completely forgot about it, and it's kind of hard not to see why. It follows a woman becoming involved in a series of exorcisms during her quest to determine what happened to her mother, a woman who murdered 3 people as a result of being possessed by a demon. And although marketed as being based on true events, the story is entirely fictional, just like this whole marketing campaign was entirely fictional. You're going to tell me that any church in Los Angeles, but you're going to tell me a church is going to allow all these people to come into their church to watch a movie that condemns the church for these exorcisms and all that. Like, does that sound like something that any church out there, I don't care if it's in Los Angeles, any church out there, do you really think somebody would go to that trouble and do that? Like, Paramount must have delivered a dump trunk full of money to that church to allow that to happen. Because I'm sorry, you can't convince me that any of this is real. Not the movie itself. And even if it was real, this is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. This is one of the worst horror films you'll ever see in your life, because this movie doesn't answer any of the questions it's trying to give you answers to. Like, it doesn't answer any of those questions. You want to know how you figure out all these answers? Well, you go straight to the website that's available for it. I'm not even joking. The movie literally ends with a quote that says, "Go to this website to find out more information." Oh, and by the way, that website no longer exists anymore. That website was gone after a year after this movie came out. They didn't even wait a full year to keep that on there. This website is on every other version of this movie, whether it's on Blu-ray, DVD, television, streaming. It's there. So not only are you telling people to go to this website that doesn't exist anymore, you're basically saying that this entire experience was a complete waste of your time, but thanks for your money. That's literally what this movie is. There's nothing about this movie that's terrifying. There's nothing about this movie that's interesting or engaging. Nothing about this movie makes any goddamn sense whatsoever. It's not scary. It's not thrilling. It's a complete waste of your time. It's insulting your intelligence. It's a bad movie. It's a really, really bad film. I don't think I need to say anything more about that. The Devil Inside, just If I could, I could punch this again. In fact, you know, I'm going to do just that. And I think I completely missed, but you get the point. But anyway, let's try to have some positivity here, because we have the leftovers for 2011, and there are some good stuff here, some stuff that's not so great, but we'll delve with it as we go along here. But let's start with a really good one here. First off, we have Happiness is a Warm Blanket, Charlie Brown.
The wait is over. The world's most beloved comic strip comes to life.
This is it! Give me back my blanket! No, this is the start you need to break the habit.
In an all-new original Peanuts movie.
You and that stupid blanket.
Linus's friends think blankets are for babies.
Linus, no future husband of mine is going to sit around holding a blanket. I'm not your future husband, and I don't really care if you like me or not.
But sometimes growing up
I need my blanket! I admit it!
means standing up for what makes you happy.
If I were you, I would be afraid of what the other kids would say about that blanket.
Do you have anything in your pocket you can throw into the air? They don't say much.
Happiness is a Warm Blanket, Charlie Brown. Look for it on Blu-ray and DVD.
I don't need this blanket. I can throw it away anytime I want to.
I love how this has all the little callbacks to not only some classic Peanuts comics, but also animation that most people didn't see until very late on. Like, there was a lot of Peanuts material from the original Boy Named Charlie Brown special from the 1960s that, if you ever saw whenever Charlie Brown Christmas was first airing on ABC, that's when they started showing that. But a lot of people didn't even know that stuff even existed, and didn't even know it until we got to this here, because it was referenced in this. This is the first major Peanuts special produced by Warner Brothers, who had had the rights to the Peanuts holiday specials for a number of years, and I think this actually might have been their only thing they ever did before they eventually bought the new Peanuts specials to Apple only. But in this, Linus is pushed to the limits when he learns that his grandmother is coming to visit and plans on ridding him of his childhood security blanket. As Grandma's arrival looms closer, the Peanuts gang tries to help Linus cope without his fuzzy clutch. Lucy is particularly eager to cure Linus's dependency using her own psychiatric techniques. And while Charlie Brown tries to help, he just doesn't have the heart to see Linus suffer. All the while, Snoopy is consistently agitating matters because he wants that blanket for himself. And in the end, insightful Linus points out that everyone has to have their own type of security blanket, and in life, and a little security is a valuable thing. And it is fitting that this one, in particular, really is the best looking of the Peanuts specials overall, because it feels like the old school Peanuts specials that we've come to know and love. What I love about this one is that it's drawn in the same style pretty much as sort of the comics from the 1950s to the 60s. There's even nice little homages to the original comic strip. You got an animated version of the very first Peanuts comic strip where you have two kids sitting on like a stoop or something, and you see Charlie Brown coming by. It's just like, oh, look, there's Charlie Brown. Good old Charlie Brown. How I hate him. Like I like the little notches they have in there. Like, the special just works on a number of different levels. The animation overall is really good. It's that modern-day digital animation, but it has an authentic, old-fashioned style that you come to expect from these type of specials that would kind of be later adapted into the Apple specials. The voice work overall is really good, and the kid actors are nicely casted. They give a right amount of energy to the performances. There are a lot of nice laughs and a lot of good heartfelt moments. Even a lot of deep moments, too, like when, you know, the great thing about Linus is that he's the voice of reason, but even he is somebody that can be pushed too far. We saw that in the Why Charlie Brown Why special, where he's trying to help the kid with cancer and from getting bullied, and you get what he's trying to come by. He's trying to tell this guy, hey, she's got cancer, you idiot, like basically that. But in this, I just love the fact that everyone's trying to force Linus to get rid of this blanket, and he basically calls everybody out on their bullshit, like everything that they do in life, and it's just such a great moment at the end, and you can tell just by watching this, the people who are making this clearly love the old school Peanuts specials and wanted to create a modern masterpiece for this generation, and I think that's definitely something for the modern generation to really appreciate it. It's a great classic Peanuts special It's a very well done animated special and gives you kind of a nice precursor to what the Apple specials will be like. I've only seen a couple of them. They're actually really good. If you haven't seen those ones, definitely check those out. But this is definitely a really, really good special to check out. Happiness is a Warm Blanket, Charlie Brown. So before we head back to the Warner Brothers direct-to-DVD titles, which you got a ton of them on this one, let's head back to one of the most boring movies of 2009, which was Woman in Trouble. That was pretty bad, but surely the sequel, Elektra Luxx, can be better, right?
Hey, I'm Bert Rodriguez, sex blocker. One performer stands taller than the rest. Elektra Luxx.
Am I interrupting something?
Yeah, all the acclaim. The high-profile affair with late rock star Nick Chappell. But Elektra Luxx's sudden retirement from the adult film industry defined the end of an era.
I heard you quit the biz.
I'm pregnant.
Oh my god, I'm so thrilled. Is it yours? You're teaching at a commune? I teach at a community center.
Chapter 2, How to Seduce Just About Anything That Moves. Group leader Stacy taught me to share.
It happened again. I got so bored by watching the first Woman in Trouble movie that I thought maybe the sequel would be better, but no. This one is just as boring, if not even more so. Yeah, this is a straight-up sequel to the first movie, and it feels like it because it literally feels like the same goddamn movie. You have Carla Gugino back as pregnant porn star Elektra Luxx trying to make a living teaching sex classes to housewives, but her life is thrown into disarray when a flight attendant with ties to Elektra's past approaches her for a favor. Chaos ensues as fiancés, private investigators, a twin sister, and even the Virgin Mary force her to face up to an unexpected series of decisions and revelations in her life. Do you really care at this point? I mean, I try to watch these movies and give them all the effort I can to do so. I like the people involved here. They brought Joseph Gordon-Levitt in here. The guy hardly ever makes a bad film. And quite frankly, this really isn't his fault in general. But just the movie itself is just a bad movie. It's just nothing intriguing about it whatsoever. It's a boring movie. There's way too much blabbing on about stuff that you don't care about. And that's the biggest problem with these movies, is that you don't really care about any of the characters and their situations. Like, there's a lot of bad things, something can be told about this character. I mean, a pregnant porn star who got out of the business to essentially go ahead and try to make a honest living, that can make for a really good movie. And sadly, it's just not there in this film. I'm just trying to figure out why these films are just so boring to watch. Like, every time I went into these movies, I was thinking, oh, this is going to be where it comes together. This is going to be where it comes together. And it never does that. It really does feel like they're just completely wasting your time, your effort, and just giving you a film that leaves absolutely nothing to the table whatsoever. And just, I mean, it's just a boring movie, man. It's a really lazy film. It's not great. It's not funny. It's a waste of all these true talents in here. This movie sucks. This movie 100% sucks. So, all right, back to the Warner Brothers movies. We have a couple of DC titles here, starting off with All-Star Superman.
Superman's Journal. Final entry. I'm dying. My turn. My cells are breaking down. I'm running out of time.
Welcome to the new world. Lay down your weapons and you won't be hurt.
We only have one chance to save the world. My last adventure is about to begin.
You know what happens when you take on Lex Luthor? If I die, you die first. Did you ever think that it would end like this?
This is, of course, based off of Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely's book and series of the same name, and it follows a Superman who's poisoned by solar radiation while saving the crew of the first man mission to the sun, and now he's dying and decides to fulfill his lifelong dreams while still saving the Earth from various threats. But when Lex Luthor reveals his latest plot to control the world, Superman must use his remaining strength to stop him. And, you know, this one, I think, you know, based off of, this is one of the most popular Superman stories of all time, and this did everything wrong that Superman, Batman, Apocalypse did This one got it right and then some. This is a really enjoyable adaptation of one of the most beloved stories from Superman's legacy, and it really tries its best to capture a lot of the great moments from that story and brings it to life in a way that is done so very well, while also creating new elements not from the story that sometimes work and sometimes doesn't work. You got a great voice casting here. James Denton as Superman's pretty good here. Christina Hendricks as Lois Lane. Anthony LaPaglia as Lex Luthor. That was good casting. Ed Asner as Perry White. I mean, how can you go wrong with that? I mean, the animation overall is really good. A lot of scenes are very reminiscent from the style of the comic book. The action sequences are nicely done. The general story is very good. There are some changes that I thought were kind of mediocre and not as great as they should be, but they take a lot of the greatness out of the film, but it's never to the point where I hated the film overall. I mean, it's a good movie overall. Not one of their better animated films, but it's certainly a lot better than Superman Batman Apocalypse was, because that one was just... oh, that was a mess. And if you want a good Green Lantern movie that came out in 2011, why bother going to the movie theater when you can have a good Green Lantern movie at home to watch? Here's Emerald Knights.
Stand tall, warriors, and charge your rings immediately. There's no mistake. This is just the beginning.
In brightest day and blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight.
Let those who worship evil's might beware my power, Green Lantern's light.
When you shape the light of your ring, you walk in the footsteps of the first lantern.
You've got one chance, and one chance only. If he gets past Oa, he can annihilate any world, anywhere.
I am a Green Lantern.
I believe in destiny. All of this, everything we do, is a part of that destiny.
So yeah, kind of like what Batman did with The Dark Knight, with Batman Gotham Knight, they decided to do that for Green Lantern, and unlike The Dark Knight, which was the much better movie than Gotham Knight, even though Gotham Knight was pretty good, this one is the far superior film than Green Lantern. I don't think it's really that hard to see why. The son of Green Lantern's homeworld, Oa, is becoming a gateway for Krona, an evil antimatter alien tyrant that once sought to destroy all life. As precaution, the Guardians of the Universe decide to evacuate Oa of all valuables, such as the central battery. And while in line to change the rings before the battery is taken away, Green Lantern Corps rookie Arizia Warab converses with Hal Jordan and expresses her self-doubts as the new Green Lantern. And in response, Hal tells her these different stories. One of them is the first Green Lantern, another one is about Kilowog, another one is about Layla. Mogo doesn't socialize, Abin Sur. I mean, you have all these different anthology storylines here, and they all work pretty well. You got Nathan Fillion playing Hal Jordan here, who's really good. Elizabeth Moss is playing Arisa Robb. Jason Isaacs as Sinestro. Kelly Hugh. Roddy Piper. Honor Vosloo. I mean, they mainly stick with one animation style overall and an overall story that links together pretty well. And also, unlike Gotham Knight, this is not as... I wouldn't say this is as great as or unique as any of those other as Gotham Knight was, but it certainly is a lot better to watch than the Green Lantern movie was. It's just like... I mean, the live-action movie was just such an abysmal mess of a film, but this feels like an actual movie. I think the overall problem with the film is that the plot really is nothing really that spectacular. It would have been more interesting and entertaining to see something in the same vein as the Gotham Knight movie. Like, you would see all these different stories from different companies and different perspectives overall. But here, it's just basically just one single animation style overall. And I'll say this, First Flight I think is a much better movie, but this definitely is the much better Green Lantern movie released in 2011. And really, it's not hard to see why at all. So take that for what you will. So, speaking of Batman, he's got another movie out this year. Let's talk about Batman Year One.
12 years, and the ache is still fresh. Like a raw, angry nerve. This isn't about healing. I'm not looking for closure.
Ah, the days when Frank Miller had dignity and respect and wasn't seen as a sexist and racist bigot who lost his writing ability. Well, technically, but considering the events of this week, if he was to start writing again, he'd probably be seen as a national icon right now. But I digress. Two men come to Gotham City. Bruce Wayne, voiced by Benjamin McKenzie, a.k.a. the future Jim Gordon in Fox's upcoming Gotham, after years abroad feeding his lifelong exception for justice, and Jim Gordon, voiced by Bryan Cranston, after being too honest of a cop for the wrong people elsewhere. After learning painful lessons about the city's corruptions on its streets and police departments respectively, the pair learn how to fight back their own way. With that, Gotham's evildoers from top to bottom are terrorized by the mysterious Batman, and the equally heroic Gordon is assigned to catch him by comrades who both hate and fear him themselves. In the ensuing manhunt, they both find much in common as the seeds of an unexpected friendship are laid, with additional friends and rivals helping to start the legend. The rest of the cast includes Elijah Dushku as Catwoman, John Polito as Commissioner Loeb, Alex Rocco as Carmine Falcone, Katie Sackhoff as Sarah Essen, Jeff Bennett as Alfie Pennyworth, Grey DeLisle as Vicky Vale, and Robert Atkin Downs, who would later be in Gotham as well, as Harvey Dent. It's a solidly entertaining movie, perfectly bringing Frank Miller's graphics to life in the best ways possible. The writer of this is Tab Murphy, who's written a lot of Disney stuff we've talked about, like Tarzan, perfectly reenacts a lot of the elements of the Year One storyline, and nearly copies Miller's work to a T in the best way possible. The animation overall is great, once again creating this very unique and stylistic world for Batman and the story to be told in. The voice casting is great overall. There's one downfall: it's a little bit short for its own good. It's only a 64-minute movie. And, you know, most of these animated movies are between like 75 to 90 minutes long, and this one is barely an hour long. So when the credits start, it's not even an hour into the movie. It's kind of like, what was the point of that? Like, honestly, but I kind of would have liked a little bit more. But as it is, Batman Year One's a well-made effort overall. It's a very good film, perfectly capturing Frank Miller's words to the screen. Some great animation, great action sequences, good story overall, good voice cast. If it had been longer, I think it would have been great. But as it is, pretty solid movie overall. Can't recommend enough. Batman Year One.
The all-new original movie, Tom and Jerry, gets swept up in The Wizard of Oz. The most beloved film of all time has an all-new twist.
Follow the yellow brick road.
Full of adventure.
Mouse,
I'll get you, Tom and Jerry. And that little dog, too.
Magic. And wicked witches.
We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz.
Tom and Jerry follow the yellow brick road to help Dorothy and her friends.
I'm hoping the wizard will give me some brains. I want a heart. I need some courage.
Seize them!
As they search for the wizard.
I am Oz, the great and powerful.
Tom and Jerry are not in Kansas anymore. Don't miss Tom and Jerry and the Wizard of Oz. Available on Blu-ray and DVD.
That's our next movie I forgot to tell you about before we started the trailer, Tom and Jerry and the Wizard of Oz. One of the many, many Tom and Jerry direct-to-video movies that have been done since 2001. There was a lot of them I could have covered, but I wanted to get to this one in particular because, I mean, the title says it all, man. Tom and Jerry in the world of the Wizard of Oz. And again, that's the plot of the movie. Tom and Jerry are in the world of the Wizard of Oz when Dorothy is there, and you see all the characters from the Wizard of Oz. And some might say that this is one of those sequels that feels very these movies that feels really unnecessary and feels like another slap in the face to Tom and Jerry in general. But to be fair, this one might actually be one of the better ones, and it works because Tom and Jerry are acting like Tom and Jerry should. They're friends in this, but they also want to kill each other. And there's many moments of great slapstick in here that get intertwined with the events of The Wizard of Oz. And it's all done very well. It's very funny stuff overall. And it delivers everything you can ask for and then some. It's a really funny and enjoyable element to it. And it just makes for a lot of really good fun fun animation overall. The animation overall, very fluent. Like, this is Spike Brandt and Tony Cervone, who are kind of like Warner Brothers animation gods at this point, because they had done so many animated properties for Warner Brothers at that time, and done them very well. I mean, these were the guys that were behind the Looney Tunes show, wrote for a lot of that. They did stuff for Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, the best Scooby-Doo show in my opinion. Of course, they did a lot of great animated stuff. I mean, these guys know what they're doing, and they know what they're doing here. I mean, they're getting a lot more. They have more creative control on this one in particular to do whatever they want to do with it, so they can do the Wizard of Oz and have Tom and Jerry be Tom and Jerry at the same time. And it's got a great voice cast overall, spectacular animation. It's actually pretty good. It's actually one of the better Tom and Jerry direct-to-video movies, which really isn't saying a whole lot, but this definitely works a lot better than something like, say, the Willy Wonka one, which we'll eventually get to down the road, but I don't know, Tom and Jerry and the Wizard of Oz worked overall for what it was, so take that for what you will. So I got one more direct-to-video movie here, and then one more movie that was released in theater. So let's go to the next film we have here, and that is Beethoven's Christmas Adventure.
Because Christmas is going to the dogs.
Hey, good looking, how you doing?
It's Beethoven in an all-new movie. Join this hilarious cast, including Kyle Massey.
Where is your Christmas spirit?
And Tom Arnold as the voice of Beethoven.
You're kidding me, right?
I think I like it. Beethoven's Christmas Adventure.
Oh, boy.
Own it on DVD today.
You heard it straight from the dog's mouth.
Oh. Okay. I know what you're thinking, but just bear with me here, because trust me, this movie is not as bad as that trailer makes it out to be. For one thing, Beethoven does not move his mouth like that in the movie, and I'll just explain that in just a little bit here after I give you the plot here. But this is, I believe, this might be the 7th or 8th Beethoven movie. I can't remember for certain, but there was a lot of them. I mean, I think it is the last one that did come out, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check here just to make sure. Oh, it's the 7th one. There were 8 movies, but this is actually the 7th one. There actually is one more that came out in 2014. I'm not going to cover that one, but there is one other. There was one. There are 8 Beethoven movies, but this is only the 7th one of those 8. So in this one, 'tis the season to celebrate with everyone's favorite Saint Bernard Beethoven in an all-new, heartwarming holiday adventure where the hilarious canine speaks for the first time. Excuse me, I believe the animated TV series had one of the Murray brothers doing it back in the 1990s, so, yeah, you're wrong on that front there, buddy. But when Henry the Elf, played by Kyle Massey from That's So Raven, which should tell you everything you need to know about the star power in this one, it's him and Tom Arnold at the front of this, but he flees the North Pole with Santa's sleigh and his magical bag of toys and crash lands the precious cargo in a suburban neighborhood tree. But when the bag ends up in the wrong hands, it's up to heroic Beethoven and his teenage pal Mason, played by Monroe Chambers, to rescue Henry, fetch Santa's toys, and save Christmas for children everywhere. And like I said, Tom Arnold does the voice of Beethoven here, but I'll give the movie credit. The dog's mouth isn't moving with bad CG like movies like this would, and, you know, I'll give it that. I'll give it that credit overall, and trust me when I tell you, when it does move in here, it certainly is a lot better than other bad attempts to make dogs talk. Remember the days of Puchinsky?
To convince you. Everybody loves somebody sometime. Everybody falls in love somehow. Puchinsky.
No, I bet my audience doesn't know that, because most people weren't even alive when that came out. But that came out way back in the 1990s. That is a real thing that they did. That was a pilot for a TV series, and that was back in the day when, you know, when TV networks needed fillers at time in the summer. So they said, put these old pilots on TV. We'll see what happens. Maybe one of them will become a success. And needless to say, Puchinsky was not one of those successes. But I digress. But I'll give it this, though. Like, they show that Beethoven gets, like, some magic candy from the elf so he can talk, but it's not done with the bad CG like that trailer's making it out to be. But I'll give it this. It's stupid, but at least it's an explanation of what the hell's going on in here. And I should also mention that this takes place after the previous Beethoven movie where he became a Hollywood star after becoming a stray. And so they basically retcon the story to the point where the Newton family doesn't even exist anymore, and now everybody's just like, oh, hey, it's Beethoven, the movie star. Like, now, as far as the movie itself goes, it's pretty harmless overall. It doesn't insult the intelligence of its audiences like the Air Bud sequels do, and they do keep it in the spirit of the original Beethoven movies, the ones I grew up with as a kid. And it's strictly something for the kids and for the people who want to see more of this character overall. I mean, who doesn't love a St. Bernard dog? I wanted one when I was a kid growing up, and unfortunately that never came to be, but anyone who's not completely familiar with the character himself would more than likely not enjoy this one, but for what it is, it's perfectly fine for what it is. You need something to show them for the holiday season that doesn't feel like it's insulting their intelligence. This will do just fine overall, so take that for what you will. So with all that said, let's go ahead and move on to the last movie I have here. Mickey Rourke, Megan Fox, and Bill Murray starring in Passion Play. Such a bizarre movie, man. But it's a very intriguing film for a number of different reasons. For one, it's the first film released by Annapurna Pictures, who would later go on to produce the Oscar contenders like Zero Dark 30, and they would also do a ton of other different movies in general. But in Reno, the former successful trumpet player Nate Poole, played by Mickey Rourke, has a one-night stand with the wife of a powerful and ruthless hat mobster Happy Shannon, played by Bill Murray, and one of his gangsters abduct Nate to kill him in the desert. Out of the blue, Nate is saved by Indians as he walks through the desert until he reaches a slideshow owned by Sam Adamo. Nate asks if Sam has a telephone to make a phone call to his friend Harriet, but he sees a beautiful woman with wings called Lily Lester, played by Megan Fox, and he asks her a drink to her. Then he invites Lily to move with him to Reno. However, Sam kidnaps Nate to kill him with a snake, but Lily rescues Nate with a truck, and they head to Reno. Nate plots a scheme to raise more money, offering Lily to Happy. Along with their journey back to Reno, Nate falls in love with her and he decides to call out the engagement and to call out the agreement with Happy. But the criminals find Nate's hideout and abduct Lily and keep the angel with them. Nevertheless, Nate is decided to rescue Lily from Happy's fortress. Whoever wrote this did a pretty bad job with the writing here. It's someone who wrote it from Rio, so I don't know if that's the way they say it there, but it just, yeah, that's a weird paragraph overall in that case. But as far as this movie goes, it's not that great of a movie. I mean, yeah, it's cool to see, Megan Fox as this angel with wings. I mean, this is back when she looked incredibly sexy, which she still is now, but that still doesn't make this movie anything that great either. And with the cast that includes people like Mickey Rourke and Megan Fox and Bill Murray and Kelly Lynch and Reese Evans, like, you expect a little bit more from that. This movie is directed by Mitch Glazer, who before this actually has written some stuff that Bill Murray has been associated with. Mr. Mike's Mondo Video. He was one of the writers for Scrooge. He did stuff like The Recruit, Rock the Casbah, Great Expectations, the Gwyneth Paltrow film. This is the first movie he's ever directed, and it's just a movie where it really does not deliver what you think it's going to give you. Like, you think you're going to go in there and get this weird, bizarre, in-your-face, over-the-top movie, but it's just not there with this film. It just feels like a film that is really just kind of all over the place, too freaky for its own good. This is the type of movie that you find in a Walmart $5 bin a year after the movie comes out. Nobody really gives you any. Nobody really looks at it and thinks to themselves, "Oh, this could be a really good movie." They look at it and see like, "Oh, Megan Fox is in it. Maybe she gets naked in here." Which, not so much. I mean, granted, you do get a couple of like side boob shots, but that's about it. But you're not paying $15 to see Megan Fox's side boobs. And really, if you're that desperate to see nudity from this movie, that's why the internet is out there. Celebrity Movie Archive. There you go. That's the place you go to find that type of stuff. But as far as the movie itself goes, yeah, it's pretty forgettable overall. And yeah, not a movie that you want to go out and see. Even if you're the biggest Megan Fox fan ever, you're not going to get your money's worth with it. No siree. And thus, with all that said, we wrap up another edition of Time About the Movies. We wrap up our first weekend of 2012. Next time, we'll take a look at the weekend of Friday the 13th, January 2012. We've got Mark Wahlberg in Contraband. We have another Disney 3D re-release. Beauty and the Beast gets re-released in 3D. And we have Queen Latifah, who 6 years prior gave us a really good, uplifting movie in the month of January with Last Holiday. And now she does it again, this time with Keke Palmer and Dolly Parton among the cast. Joyful Noise. So we'll take a look at all 3 of those movies. That'll be coming up tomorrow on the show. But with all that said, thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please go ahead and hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification button. Also, don't forget to check out our playlist, and don't forget to check out the last episode we did. So with all that said, whether it's in the past, the present, or the future, I will see you at the movies. Take care.